Welcome to the Empowering Choices podcast. My name is Joshua.
I'm Lucas.
And I'm Eric.
Lucas and Eric are licensed professional counselors, and today we're going to review another episode of Bluey.
Surprise!
Yeah, but if you were paying attention, that thumbnail doesn't quite look like Bluey, does it?
True, it doesn't.
So we're going to just let the cat out of the bag right up front here. It's not Bluey.
No.
But it's a lovely episode about lying.
Yes, and if you do like Bluey, do look up our episodes. We'll put them in the description. We do have some about Bluey.
That was the whole trick. This is our, fourth reaction video, and we have a bunch about Bluey. Eric, why did we find this cartoon? This was like a client of yours recommended this show?
A client of mine, yes, loves to have this show on in the waiting room when his sister is in session.
Nice.
And this is his favorite cartoon. And so he quite often will ask for it. And it just happened to continuously play throughout the afternoon. And
I think I literally just watched this episode. Yeah. So to be clear, this is Big City Greens. Mm-hmm. It's in the title, but not the thumbnail. You're welcome. Yeah, and it was just playing in the waiting room, and I watched it, and I went, hey, we can do something with this.
There's something here.
And this shows from what? I don't know. When did it start playing? Like 2020 or something? It's got a couple seasons.
No idea, to be honest. Because that was my client. That's the first time I even knew this existed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it feels like it's not a super popular. I've never heard anyone talk about it. But we saw it playing in the waiting room and thought it was good, and it is, and it has some good content. It's got the yellow people kind of animation style of like The Simpsons, but then it also reminds me of like the 90s cartoons of like, I don't know, like Rugrat and Hey Arnold. It's kind of like what it feels like.
Yeah, I didn't see those either.
You didn't see those? Yeah. Well, those are the cartoons that were
Looney Tunes,
like the ones that I watched.
Panther, Spy vs. Spy.
Right? Yeah, it doesn't feel like like those ones at all.
Scooby Doo, which I know you love too.
Oh gosh, no, not my favorite cartoon.
So I go into everything. I don't know. Every time somebody's like, "Watch this," I always go into it thinking I'm not going to like that. But I was very quickly surprised when I started watching this. I was like, "This is actually really good."
Oh yeah,
well done.
We just rewatched this again in preparation for, and we're just laughing at the jokes. And I've seen the episode like 3 or 4 times, and they're still good jokes.
Yeah.
But of course we have. Well, not of course. I don't know if it's an of course. We have a point here.
Right.
This is an episode about lying. To
your kids.
To your kids.
Yeah.
To your children.
Very on point here.
Yeah. Right. So I have to remember we have to give some context because we're not just going to play the whole thing. The dad is telling his family, and it's Tilly, his daughter, Cricket's his son, and then I don't know, is it Grandma? Grandma. The dad has a name too, but I don't remember what it is. And he's telling them, we're gonna go to the mall food court,
to which no one's ever gone to.
Oh, and so the shtick of the show, it is very like Beverly Hillbillies, right? Yeah. So it was like they're
the food court. I've always heard of that.
Oh, you could bust out your Arkansas accent
True,
for this one, Josh.
I could, yeah.
But yeah, they're a bunch of hillbillies, and they're the Green family in the big city. Not to put too fine a point on it,
right?
But yeah, so they've never been to the food court before,
and the kids are stoked.
Oh yeah, and there's this enormous excitement about
we've heard so much about it.
Food court,
and food courts are cool.
Yeah. And they each have an idea of what they're going to have in the food court.
Right.
Sure, right.
And it's building.
Cricket's going to eat so many French fries that he throws up. And
I think pizza.
I think that's a good segue right into what the dad does next.
Right.
So if maybe we can play that clip and then go on from there.
Because remember, they're on the way to the food court.
Right. They're on the way to the food court.
Right around the corner. Just a few more steps.
So they're supposed to be heading to the food court, and they're all excited. Wait a second.
I don't understand.
Surprise! We're getting a family portrait. I can't believe the old food court switcheroo worked. Say cheese.
There's the disappointment.
Don't you all look pretty as a picture? Oh, I've been waiting for this day for so long.
This better be a quick stop.
Yeah, when are we going to the food court?
Oh, well, we're not.
Surprise.
Surprise! Yeah, we can put Tilly's little pop-up in there.
Right.
I don't have enough cash for both. But if you're hungry, I brought baby carrots.
How about food court?
Food
That's
court.
one of my favorite jokes in the
What?
episode.
No, it's not a vote. We're taking the photo.
You bring me here. You put me in shoes, and now I find out we're not even going to the food court?
Papa, you lied to us? But you said lying is wrong.
No, sweetie. You see, lying lying's okay when it's for a fun surprise.
A surprise?
Okay, we should pause. Okay, so you've got two things that just got covered there.
Yeah.
One, her shock of the foundational principles
Yeah.
that Dad has taught her.
Yes.
Well, and to Dad's credit,
Yes.
you told us lying was wrong, Dad.
Yes.
Right.
Which
And
we
so-
would generally espouse you should communicate that
you
to your
just
children.
did it.
And she has that, and now that is like assaulting that foundation in her mind, because at her age, this is a very foundational black and white concrete time.
Right.
Now she's bringing it out. Wait, you said this is wrong. And so now he is going more from an abstract type, logical, rationalizing why this works at this time for us, because it was a surprise, which now is going to open the door in her mind because it was black and white.
Right.
But now that concept is going to come in a more black and white way as well. So it just widened that out. Oh, lying's wrong. Except when it's a surprise. And so you just changed some of what you had originally put in there.
Yeah.
Well, just play those next couple seconds, Josh, and you'll see how she.
Understand.
I didn't realize I raised a dirty trickster.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a dirty dad.
No, hear me out. Time moves so fast, and we're all getting older. I mean, just look at how happy these families are. Precious moments, preserved for all time. I want that for us.
And I think that's the end of this segment.
Yeah. So he's got his idea.
He has his idea of what he wants.
This is like his adult thinking,
Yes.
rational. He's saying the ends justify the means.
This is why it was okay.
explicitly what he's saying. I mean, not explicitly, but that's the principle.
Kind of. I mean, I think he would have been able to pull this off if he would have said, first we take a picture, let's get into the picture, I want to have a picture, and then we go to the food court.
Well, but you remember why he didn't do that?
Because he didn't have
He
enough
didn't
money.
have enough money.
got
Yeah.
He has one or the other. So, I mean, it would have been better if he could have saved more money, and then he wouldn't have had to have that lying part. He would have been like, we're going to go to the food court, but we're going to do something else first.
Because in case it isn't clear, we don't espouse lying to your children.
Right. And that's a part of it is what you're going to see in this is that it's going to wreak some havoc.
Yeah. And I was thinking about this earlier too. This is not like, there may be some cases where something would be appropriate, like we always have one scoop of ice cream and we're going to go, but you're actually, when we get there, surprise, we're going to have 2 scoops of ice cream today.
Sure.
This
is that a lie, right?
Right.
Yeah.
This is like a totally, this is not the, we're going to go on a walk to the park. Oh, wait, actually, we're going to the place that you love even more.
Yeah,
This
you're
is
talking
like
about a surprise that
bait
turns
and
into
switch.
something big.
Right.
This is a disappointment.
from something big
Right.
to something that nobody wants.
And this type of a lie messes with the trust that your kids have in you,
Right.
and will have in you moving forward. Because are they actually going to be able to take you at your word? My parents mean what they say and say what they mean. Right. No, they say stuff and then they never deliver. That's a lie. Mm-hmm. And so there's those pieces that you're working with as a parent.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because you need them to trust you, especially as they get older.
That's probably a really good, why is this bad? Because if you want to have trust in your relationship with your children, that would be kind of the key, trust is the reason why. For sure.
All aboard the choo-choo train. Next stop, back to the daycare center.
Your wife called. You won the lottery.
I won the lottery?
Yes! Nice.
Yes! I'm out of here! See you later, Tyler!
Surprise.
Surprise!
There it is again. Wow.
And that's kind of a funny idea because it's she's internalized, if it's for a surprise, it's okay.
Yep.
But then she's using her own definition of surprise of I just stole the mall choo-choo
Right.
train. What part I'm trying to what surprise would that be? I think she's probably just taken a rule she internalized and is now just running with
And
it.
she's running and literally driving with it now.
Yeah.
But,
Sure, right? Running away with it.
But see, that's the thing is that it's now in her mindset, which is concrete. So she told the conductor, You won the lottery. And he believed it, and it's a surprise. It's surprise. You didn't really, but it's a surprise.
So I suppose that would be the I told a lie for a positive surprise.
Right.
So there's two things that she did there. She told a lie to the guy, but then it ended up with her having the ability to steal the train.
Right. Now, when they left the portrait shop, which was kind of a show, and Cricket and Grandma had kind of run away with Dad's wallet.
They stole his wallet, and they were going to run away and go to the food court anyway.
Food court.
This isn't going well for him.
No, it's not. But the thing is he looked at Tilly and said, "Promise me you'll stay right here."
Oh, right, back at the photo shop.
"I promise." And then he left, and she goes, "Surprise!" And so now she's on her own escapade in the mall, to where she then goes into the shoe shop. And she's collecting all the shoes she wants to buy. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, you're going to buy these shoes." And she's like, "Yep, surprise, I'm a kid. I don't have any money." So she's really working with this whole new concept that she's been introduced to.
She's been handed by her dad.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And that's what happens when we deviate from the principles, depending on where, foundationally, developmentally our kids are at. But if you don't have a good understandable reason as to why you're crossing the black and white circuitry that you've put in there, it's going to really possibly go in different ways than you thought it would, because they're still thinking black and white. They're not going to take on that logical piece.
So maybe this episode is like a warning of possible consequences for deviating from your structure.
Right.
And we do espouse, as you were saying, there's times to deviate from your structure.
Yeah.
But this is not going well.
Right.
No, and you have to know whether or not your kids are ready to handle that deviation.
Yeah.
When my dad took us to the fair, I was.
Have you told this story before?
I don't think so.
Tell it again, even if you have.
And as we're in line, my brother's there. He's 5 years younger. I'm there. We're getting closer to, the lady at the thing. And then my dad knew me pretty well. So he's like, "Okay, when we get up here, you need to say that you're under 11. That you're 11, because it was 11 and under or something like that.
Right, gets in free or for a discount or something.
And I'm like, "But I'm not. I'm
Right.
12. And what he missed was I was very proud of being 12. I didn't want to be 11. 11 was a baby. Why would I be 11? And he's trying to say, "I'm trying to save money.
Right, I save you money.
So that we can do more stuff for the rides." And I'm trying to say, "I'm 12. And so he gets up there, and I'm internalizing, that would be lying. I don't want to lie. I'm proud of being 12.
You hadn't had enough time to process it in any case.
No, and I don't even think if he'd have started at the back of the line and said, "Here's what we're going to do," I would have been like, "No, I'm 12.
We might have had the same outcome.
Exactly same outcome.
Yeah.
Because at that time as well, he's got millions of dollars.
Because you're 12.
I'm 12. And if he has a check in an account, he has millions of dollars. It just, that's the way it is.
What's the big deal?
He makes money. It's all there. We get up there and he says, "Okay, it's one adult and 2 children. And I went, "Dad, I'm 12. He was not happy.
Staring daggers down at you.
And he goes, "No, you're 11. He goes, "No, I'm 12. I go, "I'm 12. I just turned 12 2 months ago. Don't you remember?"
We had a whole birthday party and everything.
Yeah. So he had to pay that extra price. And then we didn't get the rides as well. We did a lot of the petting zoo.
Teaching your children what money is and that it's not infinite, maybe that's a whole nother podcast.
I would not have been able to grasp that concept at that age.
Again, whole nother podcast. I might espouse delivering the information to a 12-year-old,
Sure.
even with the understanding that they're probably not going to pick it up great.
You can.
Because we tell things to kids all the time that go over their heads, but you're building a foundation for when they'll eventually get it.
You know what would have been even better? Is if,
You're going to tell me.
Yes. As if he would have assumed he knew me and that I would not go for that. And he would have just saved a little more money to cover that. And then we'd be able to do everything, And at that time, it wouldn't have been the Starbucks drinks. It would have been, whatever. But that could have happened that way too. And you could still tell me the concept of money and drop that in there and let it germinate for a couple of years.
For a couple of years. All right, so where are we now? So Tilly's just stolen a train.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. And then Cricket and Grandma are still on the lam.
Yes.
Running away from Dad with his money, trying to
Get to the food court.
Right.
get to the food
court.
court. Yeah.
The goal is the holy land of the food court.
Bunch of wild
I
animals.
think they get caught.
Taking a photo will be fun.
Here they're caught.
You can even take a silly one with bunny ears if you like.
Go!
Still trying to justify himself.
Don't you want to make a precious memory?
Oh, I'm always gonna remember this day of lies. And you know what rhymes with lies? Traumatized! I've never been to a food court before. I thought it was gonna be cool and fun and wild, and you tried to take that away. Well, not today!
Come on. This is a lot of trouble to go through for nachos.
Run, Cricket!
Ow! Ma, you're not helping.
He must have been really hungry. That is such a good still to end on. Can we please leave that up there for a moment?
The Great Escape.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. I was trying to figure out what the verb was for what they're doing. Espionage, infiltration. None of those are correct words for sneaking through the mall, going to the food court.
I think there's a little piece of each of those that could work. We need to get to the food court, and that's the mission.
The mission. Yeah, that is how Grandma explains it. Yeah. What did she say? Operation Tasty Town.
Yep.
That's
Operation
right.
Tasty Town.
I think this is the segment where they just kind of like they plainly set out like a real fundamental like purpose to the episode. And it does really seem like the show does a good balance between like real silliness and then like dropping in some like, oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I think Cricket's like speaking some truth there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I definitely think so.
Mm-hmm. In a very creative way. You know what rhymes with lies? Traumatized.
Well, it's really thrown all of them off. I mean, Grandma's even thrown off. I didn't realize I raised,
Oh, yeah, it's filthy sneaking liar or whatever she says.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody's getting hit by this.
Yeah. And I mean, it might be interesting to watch more of this show and see like what the family dynamics are between, I think, single dad and two kids, and then like his mom. Because I mean, that's like a whole family dynamic too that is, a unique.
Yep.
Because I don't know in this show, I haven't watched enough of it to know where their mom is.
Yeah, I have
maybe
no
they
idea
don't.
whatsoever.
So he drags them back. They take the photos.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And everyone is unhappy.
Right. Yeah. We're kind of jumping ahead in time because we're not going to watch the whole thing. But is that the segment where they're like, they like get caught and he drags them back and they take photos and they're all unhappy?
They're all
you
unhappy.
Just said it.
And then it's also a little moment where the guy like uses AI to make them smile in the picture.
Oh, yeah.
Really
Manipulates the photo to make
have
them smile.
a great moment. But then they do.
And the dad kind of comes to a realization, which is where we pick back up.
Yeah, and then they end up actually at the food court with the money because he doesn't
with the money.
photo.
Yeah, well, apparently,
he decides not to buy the photo.
He doesn't end up buying the photos at the photo whatever place. Yeah.
Yep. So now they're there. So here we go.
And now here we are in Tasty Town.
Glad to see you all happy again. I guess being happy is more important than looking happy. Some things you just can't capture in a photo. Precious moments like these.
Oh, that was almost my last precious moment right there.
Still, I do wish I had one good photo of y'all.
The jokes
but
are good.
Hey, who needs to pose for a professional family photo when I've got the best of my family right here?
Excuse
And then we're going to find out that Tilly has continued to internalize her father's lessons.
Right.
She's still working on this.
Because this could just be a great ending, but she's like, hey, excuse me.
I believe there's a hair in this here milkshake.
I'm so sorry. Let me just... There, it's gone now. Here's your refund.
Surprise!
It's gone now.
Come on, big guy.
I don't understand.
Surprise! Same words.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Say cheese. Sorry.
The cameras are behind you.
No, hold on.
Come
Wow,
on.
this thing really doesn't give you any kind of warning.
Cheese.
And there's really kind of a nice little takeaway there of like, because there's something that he says around like, who needs a professional photo? I think he says, who needs a professional photo when I have the best of my family right here?
Yeah.
I value professional photography. It looks good. You know how this works. You take them. But there's been a variety of times in my life when I've just like, actually literally our wedding photos were done by a friend of mine who has like some history in photography, but boy, oh boy, was it cheaper. Right. And that's kind of literally what's happening here.
Yeah.
He doesn't have enough money for everything.
Right.
And I would imagine that if they look back at this candid roll of photos, Like the first 3 are going to be the funniest. And like, oh yeah, you remember when we, right? Because it's a picture of Dad's butt.
We didn't know which way the.
Yeah. So like just the candid photography of capturing, just capturing the memory at all, even in a less than professional, less than perfect fashion, has a good value too.
When you look at our culture in the West, you see lots of family photos on walls.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see the type of photo that he's looking for. So there's this subconscious expectation of having this family photo.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. He delivers that throughout the... Mm-hmm.
Right. That can be very trapping in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because he wants that picture that shows them all happy.
Mm-hmm.
But what he comes to that realization at the end is, well, you know what? Maybe that photo wouldn't have been realistic.
Well, like it wasn't. Yeah.
Right. Because his
delivery was all wrong.
Well, they AI... Because the photo that they changed in there with the technology, he's smiling. The rest of them are not. And he's like, they're miserable in every one of those pictures. And the guy's like, oh, I can fix that. And so that's when that light bulb goes off for him. Like, well, just because it's a family photo that looks like everybody's having fun and enjoying it, they're not. And he values more the I want to be a happy unit. I want us to be happy. And so like that's, an example of what you were saying is that he could have taken those types of pictures and you can frame those in a certain way, have them matted to where they're all in there. And then almost leads to the one that, might be at the bottom, might be in the middle, however that goes. And you're right. It encapsulates that memory because just like the boy said, Cricket said, I'm never going to forget this. And so you've got so much now behind that photo. He said that
twice.
He did.
I'll never forget this because you lied to me, and then I'll never forget this. Yeah.
I have never forgotten any of the family photos that my mom and dad drug us to, and
where you had to wear shoes and comb your hair.
Every single one of them. I mean, it's
so
just
you
like,
lived this.
I lived
this was a personal thing,
right? I'm like, I didn't like family photos either, but it was the thing that had to happen. And it could have been much funner. It could have been much different. And so, as you're looking at, what does this culture say that we should do in order to be a people or whatever, man, take your own creative slant to that. Have fun with it in different ways.
We come back to some of our fundamental themes of we're here to talk about tools, to give you options, and then the use of those tools, you use them as an art, not a science. Because sometimes you break the rules and sometimes there's some rules that you really shouldn't be breaking, right? Generally don't lie to your kids, but maybe if you're keeping a birthday surprise from them, there's some place for that.
And there's ways to work with that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
That doesn't make it a lie.
Well, right. Yeah. Again, more podcast material? Do we have more to talk about?
So I think.
Am I getting a pony for my birthday? Sure. Well, if you are.
Sure. Yeah, I was going to say, that's a whole other story.
Right.
We'll have to pick that up later.
Yeah, I think we got some more material there. But yeah, if you enjoyed this, definitely check out our other reacts. We have a couple of Bluey.
We've got the 2, right now, as of this, we have the 2 Bluey and then the Turning Red film review.
Yeah, and so, and if you haven't seen Bluey, watch Bluey because that's got a lot of cool stuff in it too. But yeah, definitely check that out and make sure to check out our website at empoweringchoices.community where you can sign up for our courses. And we have a parenting manual and all kinds of stuff there. And we will see you on the next episode.
If you look real closely, the dad's like missing his index finger in the. So rewatch the episode and see if you can spot.
If you notice that.